As an accomplished banker, I feel entitled to choose a new life partner who is both beautiful and competent. Being with a somber woman like you has proven detrimental to my luck. I am divorcing my previous spouse, who was utterly useless and financially unproductive. What about our child? How do you plan to take care of Lily? I have decided to have a new child with my mistress, left by my ex-husband, alongside my daughter. To make matters worse, he has expressed intentions of remarrying after impregnating his mistress. Frustrated with my husband's behavior, I decided to initiate a divorce. The divorce proceedings went smoothly, but I had more pressing matters to attend to. Upon visiting my husband's workplace to handle an important procedure, I encountered him and his mistress, both smirking at me. They belittled me, insinuating that I must be there to withdraw savings since I don't have money as a housewife. In response, I maintained a cold expression and informed them that I came to withdraw $6 million. As it turned out, I had won a substantial sum from a lottery ticket I impulsively purchased. Desperate for forgiveness, my husband's demeanor changed completely. My name is Emily, and at 32 years old, my childhood dream of becoming a caregiver was realized. Despite the challenges of the job, the gratitude expressed by the patients made it fulfilling. My journey took an unexpected turn when I attended a mixer, invited by a coworker. There, I met Ethan. My initial impression was that he was incredibly handsome. Despite wanting to strike up a conversation, he exuded a cool and reserved demeanor, leaving me to wonder if he disliked such events. However, luck seemed to be on our side, as fate had us heading in the same direction afterward. As we walked together to the station, I discovered that Ethan was surprisingly talkative, and we enjoyed each other's company. It turned out that Ethan was not reserved or cool, but rather shy, a charming quality that I found endearing. Our closeness deepened, and we eventually decided to get married. Later, through mutual acquaintances, I stumbled upon the disconcerting revelation that Ethan had another girlfriend at the time we were dating. It was a shock to learn about his double life, but by the time I discovered it, we were already married. Despite this revelation, I clung to the belief that he had chosen me out of genuine love. In the early days of our marriage, we relished our time together, bonding over shared interests like watching sports and going to the movies on our days off. Buying lottery tickets became a joint hobby that started on a whim when we stumbled upon a ticket vendor during a sports event. Though our initial win was modest, it ignited a passion for buying tickets regularly, albeit in small amounts. We followed superstitions, like purchasing tickets on lucky days or when my horoscope was favorable, one of the few hobbies we both enjoyed. By our 4th year of marriage, we yearned for a child, but faced difficulties conceiving. The possibility of fertility treatments loomed when, unexpectedly, I discovered I was pregnant. Overjoyed, my husband was teary-eyed when I confirmed the positive pregnancy test. Excitedly, he said, "Emily, we're finally going to be parents." Despite the initial joy, we understood the need for confirmation from the OB/GYN. Anxious but hopeful, I went to the doctor the next day. The ultrasound revealed the wonderful news. "Congratulations, you are pregnant." I could see the evidence for myself, and my happiness knew no bounds. In the hospital waiting room, I immediately emailed my husband, informing him of the news. His prompt response read, "Really? That's great. I'm so happy. Thank you. Emily, please take care on your way home." He usually takes a while to respond, but he must have been really happy this time. I returned home, savoring my happiness that night. It's going to be exciting from now on. "Ethan, do you want a boy or a girl?" Tough choice. I'd be happy with either, but if it's a girl, I might be too sad when she gets married. If it's a boy, it'd be fun to play a lot while he's small. Well, yeah, but if it's a girl, I'd love to talk about love stories with her. We had such light-hearted conversations while eating dinner. Soon after, we found out the baby's gender. Throughout the pregnancy, my husband supported me, and although it was tough, I had a happy maternity life without any major problems. Time flew by, and I safely gave birth to a lovely baby girl we named Lily. We talked about overcoming challenges together as a couple, But after the pregnancy and birth, I quit my job. Originally, I worked as a caregiver, which was physically demanding and involved night shifts, so continuing was difficult. However, my husband's attitude changed drastically after I became a full-time housewife. When we both worked full-time, we shared household chores. But once I became a housewife, he would say things like, "You've been at home all day, right? Why haven't you cleaned? You must be bored, right? Make more elaborate meals." He started to berate me with his attitude like that. Our marital relationship gradually weakened, and although we shared a bed, our intimate life became non-existent. He only tolerates sleeping in the same bed because he has nowhere else to sleep. He even says, "I don't even want to sleep with you." I think to myself, then sleep on the floor, but I can never actually say that. We hardly have any meaningful conversations anymore. Ethan only talks about practical matters. Even when I try to initiate a conversation, he doesn't listen and just responds indifferently. "Hey, about the drama yesterday." "Listen today, Lily." I see. That's how our conversations go. He only responds with "ate" or "I see." He doesn't seem interested in expanding the conversation. The only time he gives a proper response is when he's angry. "What's this? The food is too bland. I can't enjoy this meal. I thought too much flavor isn't good for health. Shut up. You can't cook. Your cleaning is sloppy. You're completely useless at everything. If I hadn't married you, a woman like you wouldn't have been picked up by anyone." He often says things like that. And eventually, he even treats our 3-year-old daughter, Lily, coldly. "Daddy, look. Lily drew this." She shows him a drawing of him, but he just dismisses it with, "Oh, I see." A child wouldn't grow fond of such a father. Still, I try hard not to upset him and avoid fights. But lately, I've been thinking, am I just a housemate under the guise of a housewife? At home, he's like this, but he works at a major bank. My friends envy me, saying, "Wow, a banker husband. You're so lucky, and he seems to love you so much." Indeed, Ethan is good at keeping up appearances. Once at a friend's wedding, he said in front of everyone, "Emily is great at cooking, cleaning, and laundry. She's a really good wife." Hearing this, my friends were all excited, exclaiming, "Wow, that's so sweet." However, in reality, at home, he has no interest in me or our daughter and is just an abusive husband. He's a completely different person at home and outside. My husband, Nathan, was incredibly selfish. On weekends, he'd leave without saying where he was going, returning home past midnight, never helping with household chores or childcare. During the week, I never knew when he finished work. He'd come home late without any explanation, and if I asked, he'd snap, "What I do and where I go is none of your business. Just be grateful that an elite like me brings money home." He'd even say, "You're always at home but can't handle household chores. A useless person like you has no right to complain to an elite like me. You've lost all your charm and don't look like a woman anymore, just using childcare as an excuse." I was devastated and cried when he first said that. Despite that, I didn't give up and tried to rebuild our relationship. But with Ethan hardly ever home and always in a bad mood in the mornings, our lives just drifted apart. This led to a de facto separation within our home. Others might think I should just get a divorce. Indeed, the thought of divorce had crossed my mind many times. But as a full-time housewife, could I raise my young daughter, Lily, alone? Would I be able to find a job quickly if I started job hunting now? I worried about whether I could fulfill Lily's wishes, like attending classes or going to college, and provide her with a comfortable life. One day, I was at the supermarket alone, buying groceries. Then I saw a lottery stand in the corner with a sign that said, "Lucky Day." Emily thought, "I used to buy lottery tickets with Ethan when we saw that sign. Those were happy times." She reminisced about the happier days, but they seemed like a distant past now. Ethan had changed. In a fit of desperation, she went to the lottery stand, buying a ticket alone for the first time. She thought, why not? And bought one, hoping that if she won, maybe she could talk to Ethan about it and have a light-hearted conversation, like they used to, saying things like, "Let's do this," or "Let's go there." With that faint hope, she returned home. But even that day, Ethan didn't come home until after 10 p.m. after putting Lily to bed. She was watching TV on the living room sofa when she got a call from Ethan's phone. "Hello, what time are you coming home? Are you Ethan's wife?" She heard an unfamiliar woman's voice. A bad feeling washed over her, and she felt a chill. "Who are you?" "I'm Karen. I'm Ethan's girlfriend. Your husband is sleeping right next to me." The caller was Ethan's mistress. "I've been wanting to talk to you. I love Ethan, and he feels the same. To be blunt, we want you to get a divorce." Ethan said, "My housewife wife is almost done serving her purpose. He'll probably bring it up soon, so please start preparing for the divorce." Emily was furious at her cheating husband. Though she had been unaware of his affairs before and during their marriage, she had suspected him of cheating. He always came home around 10 p.m. on weekdays, was never home on weekends, and avoided any physical contact with her. While she wasn't surprised by his affair, Karen's brazen and unapologetic manner made her skin crawl. Karen's confident and triumphant tone, along with the thought of Ethan sleeping soundly at his mistress's house every night, foam in hand, made her blood boil. "I see. I can't say anything without talking to my husband, so I'll end the call now. Let's talk again later." "No, it'll be the same even if you talk to Ethan. I'm pregnant. It's Ethan's child. Please get a divorce as soon as possible for the sake of this baby in my belly." Karen's statement left Emily speechless. "Pregnant? You must be kidding." "No joke. I'm an elite banker. I'll provide for Karen and the baby. Ethan said so. I'll marry him, and we'll raise this child together. Time for a wife swap. Oh, and can you send Ethan's stuff over to my place quickly? This woman must be out of her mind. I have a precious, beautiful daughter at home, and Ethan parading around as an elite banker everywhere was just appalling." I was so fed up that I calmly asked for her address instead of arguing. "All right, what's your address?" She replied, "Oh, aren't you obedient? It's at X Town, I City." I noted it meticulously and hung up. Ethan returned home late, admitting to the affair as soon as I confronted him about Karen's call. "Oh, she just spills everything. Haha. I'm an elite banker, so I deserve someone beautiful and competent like Karen. I stayed with you, a mere housewife, thinking you might be useful. But lately, I've realized that being with a gloomy woman like you brings down my luck. Divorcing a useless person who doesn't earn a penny, haha." His cruel words felt like sharp stabs to my heart. Luck, useless housewife. But we have a daughter to think about. I gathered my strength to ask, "What about Lily?" "You take care of Lily. I'm going to have a new child. Of course, I'll pay the property division. A mere housewife like you can't live without it. Haha. Unlike you, it's easy for a high earner like me to pay property division. Haha. No apology, no regard for our daughter. Does this man even have a heart?" Something inside me snapped. I had no more attachment to this man. I had to protect my daughter alone. Ethan kept talking about Karen, whom I hadn't even asked about. She was a 24-year-old newcomer at his office, popular and beautiful. Ethan gleamed as he said, "I'm leaving you, an old lady, to start a second life with someone young and cute like her." His words and his affair had hurt me deeply, but I couldn't even cry. I just wished for their misfortune. Ethan left that day with minimal belongings, saying he'd send the divorce papers once everything was settled. He didn't return the next day or the day after. He was probably staying with Karen. I started preparing for the divorce. I consulted a lawyer before filing, as I heard it's better to arrange property division beforehand. I sent Ethan's belongings to the address Karen gave and began preparing to move back to my parents' house with Lily. While clearing out the house, I found more of his stuff and contacted him. "I found more of your belongings while cleaning." He casually replied he'd come the next day to collect them. The following day, Ethan arrived, and to my surprise, Karen was with him. "Nice to meet you, ex-wife." I'm feeling sick from morning sickness. Did you sign the divorce papers? Can you hurry up and finalize the divorce? Karen was indeed beautiful and much younger than me. Seeing Ethan holding her, seemingly pregnant, was revolting. I just wanted them to leave quickly. Here are the divorce papers and your belongings. I handed over the completed divorce papers, and Ethan roughly signed them and handed them back. Here, make sure you file these today. Sure, sure. With that, they left. I sighed in relief. Now I had important procedures to handle beyond the divorce. The divorce with Ethan was finalized, and I received a lump sum property division payment. It was only to be expected, given his frequent boasts about being an elite banker. A week later, I visited the bank where Ethan worked for an important matter. Ethan approached me with a smirk as I tried to proceed with my business. What, you missed me? You're hung up on me, huh? Then Karen, who was supposed to be at the reception, came out too. Oh, look who it is, the ex-wife. What are you doing here? Let me guess, you're a housewife with no money, so you're here to withdraw savings, huh? Ha ha. Their sarcasm was unbearable. No, I'm here to withdraw something else. $6 million. What? Yes, the lottery ticket. The lottery ticket I bought at the supermarket turned out to be a winner. When I used to buy lottery tickets with Ethan, we would excitedly check the results together. However, this time, buying it alone, I didn't expect much. Casually checking the results online, I saw the message, "Congratulations on your win." Scrolling down, thinking it was just a small prize, I saw an amount I had never seen before, $6 million. Counting the digits, I realized it was indeed a substantial amount. I was in shock and just stared at the screen, unable to move. The whole day felt like a dream, and I couldn't focus on housework or childcare. The next day, I checked again on my computer, and it still showed $6 million. I followed the instructions for claiming my prize, feeling somewhat detached, as if it were happening to someone else. I checked with my lawyer whether a lottery win before a divorce would be subject to property division. Since the divorce was due to Ethan's actions, and our relationship had broken down, it was not subject to division. When I explained this to them, Ethan and Karen were incredulous. What? Why didn't you say that? That's not fair. It should be part of the property division. You cheated and got your mistress pregnant, and you're saying this isn't subject to division. I've already confirmed it with my lawyer. That's a lie. Ethan raised his voice. When we were together, we never won that much. Why didn't you use your luck with me, useless wife? How can you get all that money? You said it yourself, didn't you? Being with a gloomy woman like me brings down luck. Maybe the bad luck was because of you, huh? Karen pulled at Ethan's arm, saying, "What's with this woman, Ethan? Let's go. It doesn't matter how much money she has. Let's just leave." But Ethan didn't move and said something unbelievable. "Hey, Emily, I'm sorry. Let's get back together, huh? I was wrong to belittle you and have an affair. Let's start over." What? What are you saying? You promised to support me and our baby. You said you loved me, and now you want to go back to your ex-wife. But with $6 million, we could quit our jobs, buy a house, a nice car, go on trips. Wouldn't that be great? Ethan, blinded by money, proposed getting back together. His despicable words ignited a fireball of anger inside me. You are a terrible person. I couldn't believe I had spent years living with such a despicable man. I'm sorry for everything until now. I'll cherish you from now on. Let's reconsider, huh? Ethan grabbed my arm and wouldn't let go. I shouted back, "Don't you dare joke with me." He seemed surprised by my outburst and flinched. At that moment, someone from the back of the bank approached us. "Ethan, what's going on?" It was the bank's branch manager. Ethan and Karen were flustered at his arrival. "Nothing, it's nothing," Ethan stammered. "I heard about what's been going on from a staff member. Are you sure it's nothing?" "Well, it's just that I'll talk with you later about this and your relationship with Karen." Ethan and Karen's faces turned pale. I guess the bank wouldn't take kindly to infidelity and pregnancy scandals being openly discussed in the workplace. I watched the three of them with a sense of serves you right. As the branch manager approached me, "Ma'am, I'm sorry for the discomfort you've experienced here." He bowed deeply to me, and Ethan and Karen followed suit, likely due to the branch manager's presence. "Oh no, it's fine. You came to withdraw your lottery winnings, right? Let me assist you with that." Thanks to the branch manager's smooth handling, I successfully withdrew my winnings and suddenly became a millionaire. A few days later, Ethan kept calling me incessantly. I regretted not blocking his number. At first, I ignored the calls, but they were so persistent that I finally answered. "Hello, Emily. Thank goodness you answered. Ever since that day, my boss has been furious. They say having someone like you involved affects the bank's reputation. Isn't that unfair? I've worked hard all this time." I sighed heavily, understanding the situation. That boss sounds like a wise person. Maybe they think someone with your lack of character could eventually harm the bank. Ethan stuttered at my calm response. "Besides, the only thing you've worked hard on is womanizing, right? Well, that's all. I really couldn't care less about your precarious position at the bank. Take care." I hung up, feeling a bit more relieved. Later, I heard from an acquaintance that Ethan was demoted and transferred to a rural branch. He was punished for the scandal and disorder he caused in the bank. Karen, having witnessed of the whole scene of Ethan pleading to get back with me after learning about my winnings, furiously confronted Ethan. "Actually, the baby isn't yours." "Well, maybe it's not yours. I had other marriage candidates, and I thought marrying an elite banker like you would be a good choice. But a demoted, uncertain bank employee is of no use to me. I'll marry someone better. Goodbye." She had other suitors and was only considering remarrying Ethan because she thought he was an elite banker. Once he was just an ordinary employee with an unstable position, she decided he was no longer useful and left him. Ethan was eventually abandoned by his mistress, left by his wife and child, and found his position at work in jeopardy. It was a tale more frightening than any horror story. It truly felt like a well-deserved comeuppance. As for me, with the lottery winnings, I moved to a new apartment with my daughter. While the $6 million windfall meant I could have chosen not to work, I decided to be cautious and soon found a job, returning to my role as a full-time caregiver. I wanted to avoid reckless spending, considering my daughter's future. However, I did indulge in a bit of luxury. I took my daughter and my parents on a trip to Hawaii, staying in a great hotel. Being able to show my gratitude to my parents and spending quality time with my daughter made it all worthwhile. Moving forward, I look forward to traveling more with my daughter, learning new things, and maybe finding new hobbies and passions. I'm excited to start this new chapter of life with my lovely daughter, living happily ever after.